So, yesterday um, we started the subsection called metric group. So, before that, it was we defined the notion of premetric group. So remember, premetric group is a finite abelian group with a quadratic form. And we define the category of premetric group, morphism of premetric group, etc. The metric group is a premetric group where the quadratic form is non-degenerate. So we did not write that. Yeah, we will write that now. So what did you say yesterday? Well, yeah, the fact that the quadratic form is non-degenerate can be seen at the level of the bicharacter, because this bicharacter induce a group morphism between G and the dual of G. And it is non-degenerate if only this morphism is an isomorphism. So as I said yesterday, any abelian group is non-canonically isomorphic to its dual. So in group theory, you have a proof of that, but the isomorphism here is non-canonical. It's artificial in some sense. But if you have a non-degenerate quadratic form on an abelian group, you can get, in some sense, a canonical isomorphism between G and G dual induced by the bicharacter. In some sense. It's canonical in some sense. Anyway. So what did we say yesterday? We finished with a remark. In the odd dimensional case, I say we refer to the quotient of the quadratic form by some kernel. And we say that this quotient, in the odd dimensional case, this quotient is non-degenerate. But in the even dimensional case, it's not always true. So we finish by the case which is a cyclic group of order 2. We say that if it cannot be a quotient of a non-degenerate, as we try to explain here. Anyway. Okay, so now we can define the notion of metric group. So it's a premetric group where the quadratic form is non-degenerate. Definition 2 for T. Metric group is a premetric group GQ such that the quadratic form Q is non-degenerate. Okay. Okay, so now new subsection, the pointed case, pointed braided category and premetric group. So this subsection was about metric group and premetric group. Now the link, the link with the category. So this is what we will explain now. 2.11.4 pointed braided category and premetric group. Metric groups. So Okay, so we consider, so in this section, I want to state some equivalence of category between the category of parametric group on one hand and the category of pointed braided category. So let's define the category of pointed braided categories as follow. So let P be K. Denote, so denote the one categorical truncation. So it's a little bit technical, but in fact, we don't really need that. When you consider a category of fusion category, in fact, a category of fusion category is a two category. Because you have the category, so you have object and morphism, and in fact, the functor between the category is provide the two category structure. But here, they are interested, we want to define an equivalence with another one category of parametric group. And so we need one categorical truncation of the two category, but in fact, we will explicitly write what we mean by the one category we are interested in. The one category of pointed, two category of pointed braid fusion category. That is so this is just the category whose objects are is a category whose objects are pointed braided fusion category. Pointed braided fusion category, and the morphism are braided functor. So you truncate the what do you truncate? The level of the morphism between the object of the category. You have the object are the categories, the morphism are the functor. Okay. That is object are pointed braided fusion category and whose morphism are braided functor considered up to braided natural isomorphism. To braided natural isomorphism. So we will consider this up to braided natural isomorphism, because then this specific category will be equivalent to the category we mentioned before here of parametric group. That's why we introduce the notion of morphism of parametric group, because in fact we get this category denoted PMQ, PMK, and in fact we will state without proof that it is equivalent to PBK. Okay. So let C be a pointed braided fusion category. So in this case, the object, or at more precisely, the isomorphism class of simple object form a finite group, a finite abelian group, and so you can refer to a simple object as an element of this group. So the isomorphism classes of simple object C form a finite abelian group. J, to remember that it will pointed case mean only of this form, so the group is J, and because it's braided, J is abelian. Next. So you take an element in the group and you define the quadratic form. So what was the name of that? Wait. Okay. So you define the quadratic form directly on the group element, like that. So it is just okay. So we will explain here. You have X and G. So okay. So you have the braiding on the category. X is a simple object, and G is the element of the group representing the isomorphism class of this simple object. And so it makes sense to define the quadratic form on G as this. This is independent on the choice of the isomorphism. If you have X isomorphism to X prime, then Cxx is equal to Cx prime X prime. This is up to the braiding like that is defined up to isomorphism. So this is really well defined. So this is Cxx. So X is a simple object in a pointing category. So it's invertible. So it's yeah. But this is X tensor X is also invertible. So this is also, so it's also simple. Of course, it is not true in general. So if in a general fusion category S is simple, X tensor X is not simple, but this is true in the pointed case. So this is an automorphism of a simple in a fusion category. So it is the field, because it's automorphism, it's non-zero. Non-zero element. So it's okay. Where X is a simple object in C with class G. And as I said, regarding that, X tensor X is correspond to the class of X tensor X. If I want to write this way, is G square. So X tensor X is simple. Is also simple. So as I said, you have really, it's really a field. It's really one-dimensional. Okay. And okay, so as an exercise, so it is easily shown that Q from J to K star define quadratic form. Exercise. Okay. So we started from a pointed braided fusion category, and we reached a premetric group. So we got that define a functor between PBK to PMK. This assignment yields a functor F from pointed braided over the field K to premetric group over the field K. Associating to C. Or let me write it this way. C maps to C. I don't know if it is correct to write functor with a map like that. This is usually for element, but anyway, does not matter. Okay. And so the proposition we will not prove, in fact, it may not be easy to, it may not be short to prove, I don't know. It was proved by Joyal Street in 1993 that this functor is an equivalence of category. Proposition 241. F is an equivalence of category. Which means that the pointed case in the theory of braided fusion category is completely known. There is nothing to find. There is no research to do in the pointed case for braided fusion category. It's completely characterized by premetric group. Of course, maybe you can make research for premetric group, but I don't know. Yeah, maybe. The notion of premetric group, I don't know if it is completely classified, but at least you transferred the theory of pointed braided fusion category to, you can be completely characterized in terms of finite group theory. Okay. So as I said, this is due to Joyal Street. This result is proved in Joyal Street 1993, section 3 of their paper. Using homological techniques involving Eilenberg-MacLane spaces. So I guess the proof is technical, at least. Homological techniques involving Eilenberg-MacLane spaces. So 6 years later, a more elementary, more computational proof was provided by Keene. More elementary computational proof is provided in Keene paper in 1999, and it is proposition 2.5.1. Okay, and in the current paper we are covering, there is a proof of the essential surjectivity of the functor f in appendix D. So maybe we will do that next semester. Even for next semester, I'm not sure we will have time to finish the appendix. It will be already good if you can finish the main part next semester. We are already at the half of the current semester, and we did not finish yet the preliminary part. Let me see. The section 2 was name of section 2. Preliminary. But we almost finished. So remember, next week there is no class because it's holiday. But next week, I guess we will start. We will be able to finish section 2 and start section 3, which is about centralizer in and non-degeneracy of braided fusion category. Okay, so proof of the essential surjectivity of the functor f is included in appendix D. We may see next semester, but we may cover next semester, but I'm not sure we will have time. Anyway. Okay, next subsection. The premodular category associated to a premetric group. The premodular category CGQ. So what we defined before is braided pointed braided fusion category, but to get a structure of premodular, you need a spherical structure. So this subsection is dedicated to the spherical structure associated to this pointed braided fusion category. So let JK be a premetric group. So by the previous proposition, the equivalence of category, we know that it corresponds to a braided fusion category, which will be noted CGQ like that. By the equivalence of category proposition 2 for 1, correspond to a braided fusion category which is denoted CGQ, which we denote CGQ. Okay, so a technical sentence. This category is defined up to braided equivalence because we use the previous equivalence of category and the equivalence of category. For the category of pointed braided, it was up to braided equivalence. So this category is determined up to braided equivalence. Equivalence and such an equivalence is unique up to a non-unique isomorphism. Is unique up to non-unique isomorphism. So this is a little bit technical sentence, but you don't need to care much about that. Isomorphism. Okay. So remember, we remember the example 226. Remember this example provided a spherical structure in the pointed case. So, in particular, for pointed braided, you have a spherical structure. Provide a spherical structure on CGQ. So this pointed braided fusion category is in fact premodular. Giving it the structure of premodular category. And this, we will use the same notation for. So CGQ is the notation for the pointed braided fusion category, but in fact, with the spherical structure, it's a premodular category, and it will also be denoted CGQ. We use the same notation. CGQ for this premodular category. So what is a twist? So the corresponding twist is given as follows. Is given by, and for, we just need to consider the equation 18 we mentioned before. And I will recall what we need. So the twist is completely, you only need to consider the isomorphism class, is just if you want to be very strict, you can say phi x equal that with G equals the class of X. Okay. But we will, you can write like that, it's more correct. But we will, okay. We will denote phi x just theta x just theta g. Okay. In fact, so in the paper it's written this way, so I should just say the converse way. And here I said, so theta g equal theta x with the class of x equal g. That's better. By definition of that. Okay, so then we don't need that. Okay. So what do we need from equation 18? In fact, we just need remember that recall that, or in fact, yeah, something like that. Theta x dx equals a trace of cxx. In remark 233, just after equation 18. So remember, we have equation 18, which involves inverse of the twist. But in remark 223, we said that, in fact, you can get this without inverse. So if you apply that, here, you see that this is invertible, so the dimension is 1. X, so you have this is a trace of that. But we said that we define, in fact, Q of G exactly as that. And the trace of that is equal to that because it's one-dimensional home space. So we really have that. Okay. And this is equation 26. Okay. So now we know that the twist satisfy an equation involving the braiding. So the fact that theta g equal qg satisfy equation 15, the equation involving the braiding. So this is equation 15. Theta x tensor y equal c y tensor x compose c x tensor y compose theta x tensor theta y. So you can use that, and then you deduce that the bi character is just given by this composition of braiding. So this imply the following. So you take two simple objects in the category. If x and y are simple objects of this category, and you consider the isomorphism class. Oh, so here they want to write the isomorphism class with another line. Because I denoted with a bracket. I don't like with overline. I will use bracket. So if x and y are isomorphism with isomorphism classes bracket x bracket y in G, then B, just like that, then C x y, C y x. So remember we have the pointed case, and so the braiding is a morphism from a simple object to a simple object. So it's It's a number. Because we are in a pointed case. In general, of course, the tensor product of two simple objects is not simple, but in this case, it is simple. So X tensor Y is simple. And so the braiding CXY is a morphism from a simple to a simple. So it's can be seen as a number. So this number is nothing but the B character. Okay. And in fact, this is easy to see. It's immediate. It's immediate by the definition of the bicharacter. Immediate by definition of B and this equation. Because then you see that this is equal to that divided by that. And so that divided by that is exactly the QGH divided by QG, QH, regarding that. So it's the big bicharacter. So it's okay. So B is a bicharacter where B from G cross G to K star is the bicharacter associated with Q. So we get the S matrix just as follow. Just the entry of BGH. So consequently, the S matrix of CGQ is given by SGH equal BGH. Or no, that's 5. Suppose that's 5, no? Ah, no, let me check. I always mixed.
Yeah, I also get confused.
It's written, yeah, it's 5. So, no problem. So CGH is equal to CXY with X equal G, Y equal H. Okay. So you have the S matrix. Like that. GH in G. So this premodular category is modular if and only if the S matrix is invertible, if and only if, in fact, the bicharacter is non-degenerate. So if and only if the premetric group is metric group. Therefore, the premodular category CGQ is modular if and only if the premetric group is metric. According to the previous definition, it is immediate, is a metric group by definition. There is nothing mysterious here by definition. Okay. Now, it is true that from a pre-metric group, you have the equivalence of category to the category of pointed braided fusion category. But you don't have an equivalence of category with the pointed premodular category. So if you want to characterize the premodular category, you need an extra data at the group level. And this extra data is a character of the group whose square is equal to 1. So 216, the premodular category. It's a kind of deformation, if you like. C, G, Q, and this extra data. And I don't remember if in this section we will state the equivalence of category, but it should be true. We should have an equivalence of category of premodular, pointed premodular category, I guess. But I don't remember if it is explicitly written. I don't think so. But it should hold. So in the context of the previous subsection, in the context of subsection 2.11.5, you define this character from G. So because G is abelian, every character is a linear character, every character is a group morphism, be a character. And here this will be the extra data, and we need this character to have a square equal to 1. Okay, so from this character, we can define a tensor automorphism of the identity functor as follows. This character. And so you can define another spherical structure. This character define a tensor automorphism sigma chi of the identity functor on the category C, G, K. Okay. So we will explain after the pause. Pause. So what is this identity functor of the what is the tensor automorphism of the identity functor? In fact, a tensor automorphism of an identity functor is completely characterized by a sequence of numbers for each simple object. And in fact, this sequence of number will be just the value of the character of the corresponding group element. So for each simple object X, automorphism automorphism sigma chi acts as a multiplication by the value of the character on X. As multiplication function by chi of the class of X, the element of the group, where class of X is in G. Denote, yeah, we know that. Denote the isomorphism class of X. Anyway, let's write that. I don't know why that repeat this kind of thing. Anyway, so you have, remember in some previous section, you can define another spherical structure from an additive, a tensor automorphism of the identity functor. In fact, we define this notion of torsor or something like that, which was relevant in this case. So we define a new premodular category structure, so a new spherical structure. We define a new premodular category CQ. Yeah, so we need the extra data. Chi. So be careful, here the notation may be confusing. Chi is a Greek letter. It is not the same as X. So maybe you see chi, if X is really straight line like that, and chi is like curved line for the first and straight for the second. So this is chi. This is chi, this is chi, this is X, chi. Yeah. Chi of X. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so the new premodular category, depending on G, K, and chi, as follow. Define as follow. So as a braided fusion category, it is the same, but what is different is the spherical structure. So as a braided fusion category, it coincides with CQ, but spherical structure is different. But its spherical structure differ by the twist given by sigma chi. So be careful here. This twist is a twist of the spherical structure. This has nothing to do with the twist, this kind of twist. This is a twist of the structure. Yeah, it's not completely independent, but of course you can. You twist the spherical structure and then you get a new spherical structure, but the, how to say, this is invariant, I guess. So this is another notion of twist. So be careful, it's not the same notion of twist. No, this is not invariant. Yeah, I was missing. So this is a twist for the usual spherical structure here. But if you twist the spherical structure, so this twist will be multiply by, we will see that in fact the new spherical structure, the new twist will be this times that. So we will write that later. So be careful, you have two notions of twist. The twist of the braided fusion category, this way, and the twist of the spherical structure. So they are different. Okay. Given by that. Okay. So in this way, there is a bijection between isomorphism class of triple Q G cubed chi and pointed braid premodular category up to premodular equivalence. So they choose to write this as a bijection. They did not write this as an equivalence of category. Let me check if there is no mistake in my note. Two. 241. Yeah, bijection. Okay. I guess there is a way to write this as an equivalence of category, but okay. Anyway, in this way, there is a bijection between isomorphism classes of triple GQ chi and pointed premodular categories up to premodular equivalence. Premodular equivalence. Okay. Okay, so in this category, the spherical structure is different, and so the dimension, the categorical dimension of the simple object is also different. In this category, the categorical dimension is of an object X is chi of G with G, the class of X. So chi, remember chi square equal to 1, so chi of G can be plus or minus 1. So in this case, you can have, it's not, the dimension is not only 1 for the simple object, it can also be minus 1. In G, C, G, Q, chi, the simple object corresponding to G in G. So let me just mention here why we restrict to that. In fact, remember in the some previous subsection when we talk about the torsor, we said that the set of pivotal structure is a torsor on the group of tensor automorphism of the identity functor. And the set of spherical structure is a torsor on this group, but only restricted to something of order 2. This I don't remember the details. We mentioned that before. So because in the spherical case, you have something involving order 2, I guess that's why for spherical structure, you have to reduce to something of order 2. So you really have this bijection. Anyway. Okay. But you have premodular. So premodular is braided with a spherical structure. Maybe you can also introduce the notion of pivotal braided fusion category, but then it's not premodular. And then we don't have to restrict to this kind of thing. So it's a kind of intermediate thing, but anyway, it is not considered in this paper. So the dimension is chi of g, which is plus or minus 1. So, which is in minus 1, 1, since chi square equals 1. So the twist of the braided fusion category is given by, so the twist is twisted as follows. If you want me to use a confusing way to say the thing, the twist is twisted like that. Okay. And the S matrix of the category is given as follows. And the S matrix of the category is given by CGH equal BGH as before, but twisted like that for all GH in G, where B is a bicharacter of Q. Is a bicharacter associated with Q. Associated with Q. Okay. So we finished regarding the pointed case, and now the new subsection in this preliminary part will be about symmetric fusion category. And then the next subsection will be the regular algebra of Tanakian category, and that will be the end of section 2. And then we will start section 3, called centralizer in and non-degeneracy of braided fusion category. So of course we will not do that today. But next week, because next week there is no class, it's holiday, we will, I guess, reach the new subsection, the new section 3. So at last we will finish the preliminaries, which was very long. Okay, so new subsection, symmetric fusion category. And this subsection will summarize the work, will summarize some results, some famous results due to Pierre Deligne. Pierre Deligne classified the symmetric fusion category. In fact, he proved that symmetric fusion category, so symmetric means when the double braiding is identity, this is equivalent to the twist of the representation category of a finite group twisted by something of order 2. What he called the super generalization of RepG, but it can be seen as RepG twisted by something of order 2. Okay. So again, in the theory of braided fusion category, as we said, the pointed case is completely classified. The symmetric case is also completely classified. So what is really interesting in the theory of braided fusion category are the non-pointed modular fusion category. Modular is the orthogonal notion of symmetric, and we will. So we already seen that it's when the S matrix is invertible. This is really where research is interesting nowadays. The non-pointed modular fusion category. So let's summarize the Deligne result regarding completely classifying the symmetric case. Of course, over the complex field. The symmetric case is maybe an open problem, at least even the Tanakian case, if you are not on the complex field, if you are on the field of characteristic positive, new phenomena arise for the symmetric and Tanakian case. At least over the complex field, over a field of characteristic zero, like algebraically closed, which is completely characterized by Deligne. So a braided fusion category is called symmetric. Category C is called symmetric. If we will see this notation later. If I guess the centralizer of C is equal to C itself. But this will be introduced in section 3. But this means the double braiding is the identity. Equivalently. So be careful, some people who know about von Neumann algebra, this is not the commutant. In von Neumann algebra theory, you have the commutant, which is denoted like that. This is not a commutant notation. This is a notation for centralizer. But we will, I guess we already introduced that, defined that as introduction. That's why it's not like that, but this will be properly introduced, properly defined in section, properly developed in section 3. So for here, we just write the equivalent formulation for that. Equivalently, if the double braiding is the identity. So you compose the braiding with itself. So if the composition of the braiding satisfy Cx, Yx compose C. So this composition is the identity. Okay. For all objects y, x, y in C. So you have the picture like that. So pictorially, you have so x and y, and you have one braiding, another braiding. Now this composition is equal to just the identity. Okay, so this simplifies a lot the pictorial proof. When you have double braiding like that, it's just two straight lines. So this is really, in some sense, the degenerate case. Okay. So the main example of symmetric fusion category is category RepG of finite dimensional representation of finite group. But Deligne proved that this is essentially the only possible example up to twisting by something of order 2. So this is what we will explain here. So a classical example is the category RepG of finite dimensional representation of finite dimensional representations of finite group G equipped with the standard symmetric braiding. So here you have a category where the objects are vector space. So the object as vector space admit element, and the tensor product is the usual tensor product of vector space, and the braiding is just the usual Swift. How to say Swift? I will write Swift, I guess. So equipped with the standard symmetric braiding, like that. So X tensor Y is equal to Y tensor X with X in X, Y in Y. Okay, so it's I don't know why they wrote like a sigma. Why not writing a C? But yeah, you can write. In fact, in this category, you can write CXY equal sigma XY, because this sigma XY is from X tensor Y to Y tensor X. So this is really the braiding. Anyway, so they choose to write this another notation, but so sigma XY is from X tensor Y to Y tensor X. CXY is sigma XY. Okay. Ok. So, deux lignes. Pierre deux lignes, which is Belgium. It's not French.
He was also field medalist.
He's a field medalist, yeah. He's from Belgium or from Switzerland.
Oh,
I guess Belgium, yeah. I'm almost sure it says Belgium. Deux lignes. 2002. So in corollaire, so it's a French paper, so they wrote it in French, corollaire. Corollaire is a French word for corollary. Corollary. So proved that, in fact, proved that any symmetric fusion category is equivalent to a super generalization of RepG. And by that, it means RepG twisted by something of order 2. Prove that any symmetric fusion category is equivalent to a super generalization of RepG. So instead of considering the category of finite-dimensional representation of the finite group G, you consider the category of finite-dimensional super representation. But in fact, it's not all, as we will see later. It is not all the category of super representation. It's a full subcategory of the category of super representation. Because it depends on the choice of this element of order 2. So if you make all together this element, you take all together all these possible elements of order 2, you get the full subcategory of super representation, super vector space. But if you fix a symmetric fusion category, you need to fix this grading, order 2 grading. You need to fix one. Super generation of red G, so more precisely. More precisely. Let G be a finite group and let Z be a central element which is of order 2. Be a central element of order 2. Then we can modify the braiding using this Z. Then red G admit the modified braiding G tilde define as follow. So they use the notation prime not tilde. I don't know why I put tilde in my note. Prime. Okay, so sigma prime x y of x tensor y is nothing but -1. Okay, Mn. So I will explain what is M and N. M and N will be number which will come from Z. For x in x, y in y, where the action of Z, function of the are given by Zx equal. So remember, Z square equal 1. So Z is an element of the group. X and Y are elements of the vector space. So it's really a bad notation to use X, Y, Z, because then you look like Z is the same kind of structure as X and Y. But it's not true, so be careful. X and Y are elements of the vector space. Z is an element of the group. So X and Y are of the same nature. Z is a different nature. So like that and like that. Okay. Okay. So how do you understand that? Big X and big Y are representation. So vector space. So something on which G acts. Z is an element of G. So this makes sense. Z as an element of G act on X. So it acts on an element. So it makes sense to consider the left multiplication of Z by an element of X, denoted small x. And because Z square is equal to 1, in fact, this value can be plus or minus X, nothing else. So plus or minus is completely determined by M. So M should be 0 or 1, I don't know, something like that. And so this M is completely determined by X, and this N is completely determined by Y, and the choice of Z. So be careful. Be careful. X is in X is, and Y is in Y. R vectors are vector. Are vectors. Z is in G is a group element. So their nature are different. Okay. Okay. So you twist the braiding like that. And so you get a new braiding. And you get a new braided fusion category. So as a fusion category, it is the same. But as a braided fusion category is different. So what was twisted, what was deformed is the braiding, not the fusion category by itself. So the resulting braided fusion category is denoted by rep GZ. Okay, and as I said before, this rep GZ is a full subcategory of the category of superrepresentation. So because you need to fix a Z like that, you don't get the full category of superrepresentation of G, but a full subcategory. So equivalently, rep GZ can be viewed as the full subcategory of super representations of G in which Z act by the parity operator. So parity operator. So you have a super representation. So super representation mean vec of C2. Vec, so the category of representation graded by the cyclic group of order 2. So you have a grading. And in fact, the Z provide this grading in some sense. Act by the parity operator, which means that ZV equal V for even vector. So it's a Z2, it's a grading by the cyclic group of order 2. So you have a grading, and you have some vector are even, which the one which are in the trivial component of this grading, and you have another component made by the odd vector. So even and ZV equal minus V for odd vectors in a super vector space V. So, in other words, V is C2 graded. V is in vec of C2. V is of the form this form, and this is for even part, this is for odd part. Okay. Okay. So the easiest non-trivial example is when the group is precisely the cyclic group of order 2. So example 242. Let G be, so they denote like that in the paper, but as I said, better notation is C2 from group theory. For group theorists, it's C2. And let Z be the non-trivial element of the, so you have two elements in the cyclic group of order 2. One is a neutral element, and the other one, this is Z. Let be the non-trivial element of G, then rep, so it's central anyway, is the category of super vector space, denoted SVEC. So you use SVEC as a braided fusion category, but if you only consider, so this is equal to VEC C2 as fusion category. If you just consider the fusion category structure, it's just VEC of C2. But if you consider the braiding structure, you use this braided fusion category, and this is denoted SVEC. SVEC for braided fusion category, VEC C2 if you forget the braiding. Okay. Okay. So here, this comment is here. So I should not like this. Okay, so there remain 5 minutes. Okay, so in the same way that you have a notion of fiber functor, it's a functor from the category to VEC, you have a notion of super fiber functor. So it's a braided tensor functor from the category to SVEC. So the fiber functor was a tensor functor from C to VEC, and the super fiber functor involve a braiding, and it's not VEC but SVEC. So recall. So it was introduced by Deligne again, 2002. That for a symmetric fusion category, a super fiber functor is a braided tensor functor from C to SVEC. That for a symmetric fusion catégorie C. A super fiber functor. I don't like the name super. Super is confusing. It's super mean in correct English. Super mean better. It is super thing. Here super mean Z2 graded. That I don't see any. There is no relation. Super is a bad name. Super fiber functor. Is a braided tensor functor. So like that to SVEC. I don't know who introduced this name of super vector space for Z2 grading vector space. S2, C2, yeah. I don't know who. But it's not a good idea. If you consider, so we remain 2 minutes. If you consider, so remember when you, no, it's not remember. We defined that in some previous class, but anyway. You consider this functor and you consider the group of tensor automorphism of this functor. And this group, in fact, will be precisely the group we are looking for, will be G. So G can be recovered as the group of tensor automorphism of this superfiber functor. So given yeah, so it's too long. The sentence is too long. So I just say it again orally. I will write it next time. Given such a functor, define G index F to be the group of its tensor automorphism. Z index F will be the parity automorphism, and etc. So in fact, this will be the group. Maybe I can write the first sentence. So given such a functor, define G index F to be the group of its tensor automorphism. And this will be, in fact, C will be equivalent as a fusion category to rep of G, F, this GF. And you will get the order 2 element as an element of G like that, but this will be, we will do that next time. In fact, one theorem of Deligne we will mention next time is that for every symmetric fusion category admit a superfiber functor. And yeah, it should be, is it equivalent or not? Maybe not. I don't think it is equivalent. Anyway, so see you next time.